Thanks for tuning in to this week's news recap. First headline, the US Treasury is eyeing expanded crypto regulations. Last week, the Biden administration released its 2022 budget proposal. Tucked inside was an emphasis on expanding the IRS in order to combat tax evasion. Specifically, the US Treasury highlighted crypto as an area to focus on, saying, quote, "Tax evasion using crypto assets is a rapidly growing problem. The global nature of the crypto market offers opportunities for US taxpayers to conceal assets and taxable income by using offshore crypto exchanges and wallet providers." Treasury's proposal looks to expand the reporting requirements of crypto brokers to include the beneficial owners of accounts internationally, which basically would force financial institutions to collect and verify information from customers holding or transacting in crypto assets. According to the blog, this new proposal is not quite as groundbreaking as it initially sounds, as crypto exchanges are already expected to keep information on their clients. However, Treasury is now focused on tracking information internationally. The White House did not just stop at expanding the IRS in combating tax evasion. On Tuesday, in light of the recent ransomware attack against meat processing company JBS, a White House spokesperson said, quote, "Expanding cryptocurrency analysis to find and pursue criminal transactions is part of its strategic review on ransomware." Next headline, the SEC is filing charges against Bitconnect. For those who remember the heady and unsavory days of the last crypto bubble, here's some overdue news. The SEC is filing charges against 5 individuals over their involvement with Bitconnect. According to the SEC's complaint, Bitconnect raised $2 billion in unregistered securities from 2017 and 2018 through the use of a network of promoters. Laura Shalev-Mirabin, the Associate Regional Director of the SEC's New York office, said in a press release, quote, "These defendants unlawfully sold unregistered digital asset securities by actively promoting the Bitconnect lending program to retail investors." She added, "We will seek to hold accountable those who illegally profit by capitalizing on the public's interest in digital assets." Bitconnect, BCC, was, to put it bluntly, a Ponzi scheme. BCC was a cryptocurrency built on top of Bitcoin with a simple premise. Trade your Bitcoin for BCC, lock in the instantaneous value of BCC for a set period, and earn massive amounts of interest, calculated daily. On top of the too good to be true promise of daily compounding, Bitconnect also used a system of invites and referrals where users could invite friends to join the platform in exchange for business. Bitconnect crashed in 2018 thanks to cease and desist orders from Texas and North Carolina, with its token collapsing from over $470 to below $1. While it may seem that Bitconnect is getting its due justice, Gabriel Shapiro, a partner at BSV Law, was skeptical, tweeting, quote, "This case could become a blueprint for action against non-fraudulent DAOs, as the SEC's case describes Bitconnect as a, quote, unincorporated association." Next headline. Marathon will no longer censor Bitcoin blocks. Marathon Holdings, a prominent Bitcoin miner, announced in a press release that the mining firm, quote, "will be updating all our miners to the full standard Bitcoin Core 0.21.1 node, including support for Taproot." The announcement comes about a month into Fred Thiel's tenure as chief executive officer, where he appears to be taking the miner in a slightly different direction than previous leadership. The latest press release is important for 2 reasons. One, previously, Marathon had described itself as an OFAC-compliant pool, meaning they would only mine blocks compliant with U.S. regulations, excluding transactions associated with sanctioned addresses from the blocks it mined. From now on, Marathon will no longer censor transactions, with Thiel saying, quote, "Marathon is committed to the core tenets of the Bitcoin community, including decentralization, inclusion, and no censorship." The next thing to note is that Marathon will now be signaling in favor of Taproot. Over the past month, not all of Marapool, which is Marathon's mining pool, has signaled for Taproot activation, with half of the non-signaling blocks for Taproot coming from Mara this epoch. Bitcoin's Taproot update, which Jeremy and I just discussed at length, should enable improvements to Bitcoin's scaling, privacy, and custody software, and it recently began its 3-month activation period. Miners who wish to adopt the update can signal support by adding what is called a signal bit in blocks they mine. At the time of publishing, miners have signaled for activation at a ratio of 97.67%, with 251 out of 257 blocks signaling readiness for Taproot. However, there is a long way to go before Taproot is activated, as 1,562 additional blocks are needed for the protocol to lock in. Funding roundup. VC giant A16Z is doubling the size of its third crypto fund. Previously, it was reported the fund was looking to raise $800 million to $1 billion. However, according to blogger Eric Newcomer, the fund has now ballooned to $2 billion, which could lead to $50 million in annual fees for A16Z. Circle, the payments company behind USDC, raised a $440 million round led by Digital Currency Group, Fidelity, and FTX. At the time of publication, USDC is the second largest stablecoin, trailing Tether's USDT. One of Coinbase's earliest backers, Union Square Ventures, has invested in Mirror.xyz, a crypto publishing tool, at a valuation of $100 million. Mirror uses Ethereum to help writers leverage blockchain's unique advantage of P2P relationships between creator and consumer to crowdfund its projects. Next headline. Mike Novogratz's and Christian Angermeyer's firm Cryptology Asset Group has committed to investing $100 million in crypto venture funds over the next 2 years, with a particular focus on first-time funds, emerging managers, and seed funds. Next headline. Looking back at crypto statistics in May, May was a brutal month for hodlers, whether Bitcoin Maxi or hardcore Ethereum. In May, BTC finished the month down 35%, its third worst monthly loss ever. Ethereum ended the month at about where it started, which is somewhat underwhelming after ETH skyrocketed past $4,300 on the 11th, before landing back under $3K to round out May. The news was not all bad, even with the crypto industry's market cap dropping from $2.2 trillion down to $1.5 trillion, a 30% decrease. The market still found a way to reach a few all-time highs. All numbers here are courtesy of the block. Crypto exchange volume topped $2 trillion in May, marking the fourth month in a row with volume over $1 trillion. For context, in May of last year, total crypto exchange volume was at $107 billion. DeFi protocols generated a record amount of revenue last month, bringing in $370 million. Not surprisingly, Uniswap took the lead, producing 41% of total DeFi protocol revenue. In another all-time high, Ethereum miners made $2.35 billion, increasing April's previous record by a whopping 42%. The spike in miner revenue most likely stems from the fact that Ethereum's on-chain volume surpassed Bitcoin's for the first time, with Ethereum hitting $666 billion in volume and Bitcoin sitting down at $407 billion. Lastly, stablecoin supply suddenly topped $100 billion for the first time, with Tether leading the market at a 63.3% share. Since the start of 2021, stablecoin supply has increased 255%. Next headline. Coinbase Pro is letting the Doge out. In a blog post on Tuesday, Coinbase Pro announced that it would begin accepting Doge transfers and that Doge trading would go live sometime on Thursday, depending on liquidity conditions. The market immediately reacted as Dogecoin jumped up roughly 32% in the 24 hours after the blog post, breaking 40 cents once again. After the announcement, CoinDesk asked several knowledgeable market participants for their take. I'll highlight 2 bullish quotes and a bear. Edward Moya, a senior analyst at Oanda, noted, quote, "People are still going to be cautious long-term, but this debut will eventually have some ability to attract traditional investors and not just the Robinhood/Reddit army." Voyager CEO Stephen Ehrlich said, quote, "We've had consistent net buyers on Dogecoin, which indicates the general bullishness around it as it gains popularity across all demographics." James Butterfield of CoinShares was hesitant to endorse Doge, saying, quote, "When you invest in any digital asset, you have to look at the fundamentals behind it. With Dogecoin, there's a lack of these." Next headline. NFTs are still a thing. After a relatively quiet May in the realm of NFTs, it seems June has brought about a small resurgence in NFT mania. On Thursday, Sotheby's, a renowned art house, began an online NFT auction featuring the first NFT ever minted, Kevin McCoy's Quantum, which was created in 2014. Also on sale is CryptoPunk number 7523, one of 9 alien CryptoPunks in existence, 2 of which have already sold for more than $7 million. FTX, the crypto exchange, announced its own NFT marketplace where tokens from both Ethereum and Solana can be bought and sold, with FTX taking a 5% cut from both the buyers and sellers. For now, the NFTs are stuck on FTX, though customers will soon have the ability to withdraw their tokens. One unique token for sale is SBF Lunch, redeemable for a 30-minute in-person chat with FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. The latest bid is $100,000. All right, time for FunBits. The Uniswap queen nailed it. This week's FunBits is visual. So for our podcast listeners, it's time to swipe on over to Twitter and type in Eva Baylin, EVABEYLIN, into the search bar. Once there, go into the media section, and the first picture you should see, is the most glorious set of fingernails in the crypto sphere. Predominantly white, tipped with a sci-fi looking computer chips, and adorned with 2 Uniswap unicorns on the nails of the ring fingers, Ashley Shapp, the growth lead at Uniswap, most certainly wins the competition for the most fashionable crypto protocol homage I have ever seen. All right, thanks for tuning in. To learn more about Jeremy and Taproot, be sure to check the links in the show notes. Don't forget, June 14th is the 5-year anniversary of Unchained. If you want to send in a question or comment for next week's show, which will be a mini AMA, the deadline to get your submissions in is Thursday, June 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Send it via email to hello@unchainedpodcast.com and write anniversary in the subject line, and also let me know how to pronounce your name. Unconfirmed is produced by me, Laura Shin, with help from Anthony Yoon, Mark Murdoch, and Daniel Ness. Thanks for listening.